I am so sorry, people. We lost some storage. However, we lost some footage because of the storage. However, it's good because the storage that you lost is storage that was a full screen, so it's not a big deal. A full screen of retry or continue. Don't blink, it's your brain. Welcome to the show. We're doing well on this 21st May 2025. It is absolutely shitty outside. I wish I was anywhere else with a nicer weather. Mexico seemed like a good place to be. So why don't we try the new flavor of Pringle? New flavor. Said about this. Mexican street corn. They look amazing. Pringle has been doing once again a lot of new flavor, which we love. But what we love even more is that they've been putting effort into making it. So what I really enjoy is if you look here, there's a pizza, which is what it's supposed to look like. There's the pizza, and then there's ketchup. And if you look here, it's what it's supposed to be. The chip, the corn, supposed to have lemon, onion, and ranch sauce. I'm actually quite excited. It's supposed to look like this, so let's hope it looks like this. Now, if they're smart, instead of the regular potato chip, they put a corn chip to simulate the flavor of corn. That will save them a lot of problem. So this is what it looks like. Smells pretty nice. Quite flavorful. A lot of ranch, a lot of lemon, a lot of lemon. A bit of onion, but the onion that's there is actually quite nice because it seems to be more out of the vegetable than in the chip form. Really nice flavor. Very nice harmony. I'm really tasting what they're promoting. Does it really taste like a corn? No. But I love some sweetness. However, I think fiesta, we're tasting onion, lime, ranch. Pretty flavorful, pretty enjoyable. Recommend. Yum. Don't blink, it's your boy. Welcome to the commentary show. Hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning on this very cloudy, very disgusting 21st May 2025. People told me you're a simple guy. I think they mean simple-minded, but I'm hoping that that's what they mean. And out of this simple thing, I've been enjoying for years. So we're talking about burgers, we're talking about chicken wings. Now, in the town of Lachine, the place where I live, has been growing steadily, and they've been having more pizzeria. So I wanted to try something that had to do with something with flavor, with pizza flavor. So we're gonna be tasting the Pringle pizza flavor. First of all, shout out to the design team. I love what we have here. The Pringle guy, Pringles. We have a pizza. We have a pizza box. They put the effort to do the pizza box as if it was a Pringle pizza box. That I'm a fan of. Never had these because I'm not a big fan of pizza, but I'm open-minded. So hopefully that's of a purpose. Here we are. Nice little color on it. Nice little red flavor on it. We love that. Actual good pizza taste. I'm tasting the pizza. I'm tasting the acidity of the tomato. I'm almost tempted to say I think the pepperoni, the pizza sauce, the pizza dough. Really nice pizza experience. A bit too much Shop's pizza. I'm like, whoa. Take a step back. Anyway, it's exactly what I asked for. They're delicious. I want to go back in. They're addictive. What they do Pringle is they recreate a bit of the flavor, and your brain does all the work. Your brain like, oh, I can easily tell that this is a pizza. Is it really supposed to be a pizza? No. Is it supposed to simulate a pizza? Yes. So you're getting a good chip. You're getting a pizza taste. You ask for a good chip and you ask for pizza flavor. You know what it takes? Is it the best chip I've ever had? No. But it's pretty good. And it's pretty on point what I'm expecting. If I have an itch for a pizza, I now have a pizza chip. And that, I'm gonna tell you something, is something. Anyway, love you guys, take it easy. Peace. Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the show. Because doing well, you guys are having a wonderful day on this shitty, great 21st May 2021. We love Grey Anatomy. We do not love gray weather. You can tell I'm eating something. We're eating Pringle Mexican street corn and Pringle pizza flavor chips. Today we're doing something special. We're talking about a gaming video. Talking about G Eternal. I had terrible news, but I also have great news. So with G Eternal, what happened is, second time that happened in 2 months. We're deleting games and we're reinstalling games. So we've been deleting Arknight and G Eternal. Same thing happened. So I lost the data and I watched the playthrough and I realized that I never binded the application. So usually what will happen is you can delete an app, they'll log you back in as the same user. Always. Now, for some reason, they haven't logged me back in. So all my progress of G Eternal is over. Now, in a perfect world, what I'm doing is I'm waiting a couple of years, and I'm like, you know what, let's play it again. However, the game is starting, and they're very generous with the rewards, so I'm going to be restarting. Since I am restarting, I'm going to give you guys a deal of a lifetime. I will be doing the same playthrough, right? However, there is an however that's quite important here. The however is I will only be doing till where I was. Now, the difference is I will not be reading. Usually I like to read. This time I will not be reading. However, when we're finished with this, we'll restart reading, we'll start doing everything, and dude, it's a game that I really enjoy, so I don't mind. And once again, it's 3 weeks, so it's 21 days. Let's say I play 2 hours per day. That's 42 hours. It's not that long, right? It is a long time and it fucking sucks, but there's worse thing in life. Plus, it's a game that I get to play with Final Fantasy Z, so even though I miss playing that game, we're getting 2 playthrough done. So we'll be restarting once again, get to the point where we're not going to be reading, and because we're not going to be reading, people are not going to be happy. But if you want me to read, you just have to see the first version of the playthrough. And that's pretty much it. Anyway, I love you guys. Let's play some G Eternal. Take it easy. Peace. Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the show. I'm doing well because I'm having a wonderful day on this 21st May 2025. Today is a beautiful day. Just slide, right? But it is a beautiful day because we're thinking, we're productive. I'm thinking about a lot of videos to do. So with that being said, I have a new concept to tell you. So about 3 weeks ago, about a month ago, I'm gonna get myself some water. Should have done this first, but again, your boy possibly not the biggest planner in life. Yeah, people will say, Ink, you should plan more. And I will tell them, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? As you can see, we cleaned the apartment. I think that's why I feel so so productive and so constructive. Ooh, these pants, I must be losing weight because they feel loose. So the principle that I was wanting to do, the idea that I wanting to do is about 3 weeks ago. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of doing all of those videos. Let's do 2 similar ID and the same one. Today I'm saying scratch that and say 2 opposing thought from similar. So today, for example, today is the first instance of that. So the first video that I'm going to be doing is a man with a plan, and then we're going to be doing a video called a man with a camera. Right? Why the camera? Camera is a tool. You can have a plan with no tools, or you can have a tool and no plans. Let me tell you something. I'd rather be ignorant. The whole idea technically came from yesterday from Trailer Park Boys. I know it's crazy, but it is truth. When Leahy said, oh my god. Oh my god. Woo. When Leahy said, it is funny to be wise. Ignorance is bliss when it's funny to be wise. And I was like, you know, wow. That really meant something to me. You know? So, give me a sec. Because, and even then, when I grew up, I was watching shows like Devil Advocate. And in my life, I've been constantly fighting to search for balance. Balance versus good versus balance versus evil. And I was so focused on this balance that I never asked myself, do I prefer positive ID? Do I prefer good ID? Or do I don't mind? Is it just the duality that I'm looking for? Is it just the balance of 2 complete opposites? And if I found them, what would I do, right? And I never asked myself the question. And okay, I got drunk yesterday. I was bored. I was arguing with someone, right? And then this person was kind of, I'm not gonna say it, but kind of dumb. Respect to that person. If you're watching this, my apologies. I was drunk. And then we were talking, and then I was arguing for the sake of arguing, which makes me an asshole. Whoopsie daddy. But then, something magical happened, and this drunken stupor, I had a moment of clarity, right? And this moment of clarity, I said one thing. Because he was saying, oh, you're only looking to be right. And then I'm not looking to be right. We simply have a yes or no situation if we don't have the question. Right? And with opposing thoughts, you have a yes and a no. Right? And all you have to do is ask a question. For example, today, man with a plan or man with a camera? But what is the question? Do you prefer to be one of them? Which one is right? Which one is the most prepared to face situation? Right? Then people would say man with a plan, but man with a plan can improvise. I would say man with a tool, because no matter situation, he's equipped to face the situation. But if he doesn't know how to face the situation, then all this equipment go to waste, right? The perfect thing would be a team of the both of them. We're also watching Trailer Park Boys. I don't know if I mentioned this. I think I did. To talk about Ricky and Julian, right? So anyway, let's see how that goes, and let's start this right away. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace. Don't blink, it's your blink. Welcome to the Computer Show. We're doing well because I'm having a wonderful day on this 21st May 2025. Today we are extremely motivated to make content. It is 9:18 on the clock. I'm going to be waiting another 40 minutes and then I'm going to go give out some CVs because your boy is motivated today. I feel like $100 bill, which is not a lot, but hey, I guess my standards are pretty low and that $100 bill is all it takes to make me look like a hero. Didn't mean to rhyme, but I guess we got the time. Today we're doing a new kind of videos. We're doing a duality. So think about devil advocate. Think about the search of truth, a yes or no. Look at it as the same coin, but different side of the same coin. So the very first thing that we're gonna do is what is the most important part? A man with a plan or a man with tools, right? So the idea came from a very important part of life. A man with a tool. I feel like in life, a lot of time I didn't have the tool that I needed. And then when it comes to content, I always romanticized and I always felt to be critical, acclaimed. The simple fact of saying, hey, I have a camera. I'm a man with a camera. I don't have a plan, but I have a camera. Right? Even when you look at the Dark Knight movie, which is one of my favorite movie, right? Think about the Joker, and the Joker is really smart, but there's a place in the movie where he says, I'm just a dog chasing a car. I don't even know what I'm going to do if I catch it. That to me, that was very poetic. That to me, that was very senses. Made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense in the sense of, dude, how many things are we doing just because we can do it? Even at work, right now we're job searching. We have the tool that it takes. We're 2 arms, 2 legs, a functioning brain. For a lot of people, this is the tool needed to be a success. And company XYZ, right? So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do it. But then with a man with a plan, the man with a plan has more so of a leadership role. The man with a plan might be able to do something in X situation, right? There's no need for tools if you don't know what to do. The man with a plan is a kind of like a genius when it comes to how we're doing things. Kind of like a genius when it comes to assessing the situation, right? But he kind of do shit. Now, we are using Trailer Park Boys because I'm watching Trailer Park Boys. And yesterday we were watching an episode with Jim Leahy, who's a drunk supervisor, but somebody that's super smart in real life. John Dunsworth, rest in peace. And he was saying it is ignorance is bliss when it is folly to be wise. And that hit me like a fucking ton of brick. I was like, wow, that is so meaningful. But again, when you look at it, it is a play on duality. It is ignorance is bliss. Being dumb is amazing. When everybody that's smart is crazy. And to me that hit because technically speaking, you want to be smart, right? But what if being smart was more harmful than being dumb? Then you want to be dumb, right? What are you choosing? You're choosing the way of wisdom or you're choosing the way of no pain? The painless way. This duality is extreme. So part 1, we're going to be talking about a man with some tools, which I'm really happy about because this is kind of where I'm aiming myself. So a man with a tool. See, in my case, a man with a tool would be camera. Why? Because this is my passion, this is my hobby, this is a dream, is to make content and a professional situation. And i.e., I make enough money to feed my family, and then I got a couple of bucks to go to the strippers, because they deserve some love too, right? Did I just say that out loud? I think I'm gonna take a sip. I'm meditating. And a lot of people have always told me, hey, Ink, you have so many ideas. We're sitting at 29,000 videos on the channel. Where do you get all of them? So the truth is, I'll see a movie, they'll talk about a subject, I want to do it. A lot of them, I think about 700 videos are food reviews, which I'm making content, I'm tasting something, so might as well use it. A lot of them are review, I'm watching the show, I want to talk about it. I mean, when people talk on the radio, I think the idea, even my algorithm pushes content that I want to talk about. For example, talk about AI, talk about the nature corn, right? And to me, this is interesting because I don't even need to come up with an idea. It just happens. Now, in my case, it's a weird thing because I love the idea of a man with the tools, because as an underdog, that's the guy you want to win, right? It's not the leadership position; it's more of a follower. But with my ADHD and me thinking out of the box and me being inspired and me being very opinionated, right? I can technically have a plan, and that plan is just to follow my fucked up brain, right? A lot of people are inside a box, right? And we're going outside of the box, and because we're going outside of the box, there's a much bigger world out there than just the box, and just because there's a much bigger world out there than just the box, then all you're thinking about is, okay, well, what am I looking at outside the box versus what are they seeing inside the box, right? And because I bring the subject of outside the box, all I need to do is verbalize it for people that are inside the box, and then it looks like an idea that came from the box. Because it came from an idea, it looks like it came from the box. People are willing to acknowledge this concept or this idea, no matter what it is. And to me, that's beautiful because I'm presenting you an alien subject, and like, yeah, it makes sense. I'm gonna dig it. So, with content, in my case, I feel like I'm more so a man with a tool, but I feel like I'm a more so like a man like a tool because being a man with a plan comes naturally. So, i.e., I'm gonna go out, right, and I'm gonna have my camera, and I'm like, oh, this is super cool, or hey, I could eat this, and they will make a video, right? Now, because planning is so easy for me, the tool is important because the camera, and even then, there's been moments in my, I don't want to say career because to me that sounds a little bit obnoxious. But there's been moments where I saw some beautiful landscape and I had a shitty camera. My only good camera is this phone, to be honest, right? And I was like, dude, you should have so brought the good camera. I didn't think about it. And that's on me. That's completely on me. I'm the one to blame. Shame on H, right? But at the same time, if I had a tool, those tools were meaningless because those were instances that could have filmed. Like a nice sunrise. I didn't make the sunrise. I just filmed it, right? And I can have the tool. If there's nothing to film, there's nothing to film. For example, look at this today. Doesn't matter if I have a tool, right? There's nothing to film. And if I had a plan and I could do nothing, even then I could find a thing to do, right? So, in my opinion, the man with a tool, and it's always about being equipped, right? Situation. My issue with being the man with a tool, I say for positive, being prepared is amazing. Being equipped to deal with situation is amazing. Doesn't matter what happened. If you're equipped for it, you'll be able to, that's the point of life. Learning lesson that way. When it happens again, you're able to face it, right? Having a tool is so much better than having no tool because you're like, well, I'm equipped. I think I'm repeating myself, but the main plot is you're equipped. XYZ happened, you're equipped, and XYZ might never happen, and there's a beauty in that. I'm seeing people put so much money in their retirement funds, and then they die of a heart attack, they die of an accident, and then you're like, what? So the retirement funds, what happened with it, right? They had a plan, it didn't work. A tool, it will work no matter what, right? Have you ever heard of a hammer that didn't hammer? Have you ever heard of a nail that didn't nail? It doesn't happen often, right? But then there's cons to that. There's cons to the fact that you have tools. If you don't know how to use a tool, if you don't know in which situation to use a tool, if you could have used a tool but you didn't use it, then it becomes completely useless, right? The man with a plan will find a solution, and will find multiple solutions in any single case. There's a situation. Here's my plan, right? Okay, well, it doesn't work. Okay, well, I got another plan. The man with a tool will say, well, you know what? Got a crack in your door. I have a drill. Let's drill a screw in there, right? And then you realize that the door itself is fucked up or it's crooked because you screwed the nail. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take out the nail, but you still have the same problem, right? The man with a plan would be like, okay, well, let's look at the door. Let's look at the door and let's see how it's broken. But it's such a complex thing because you're basically saying the idea versus the material. My capacity to acknowledge the situation versus my I'm sorry, I'm tired. Um, my capacity to acknowledge and understand a situation versus my capacity to solve a problem or situation with what I have. I saw some people do some beautiful thing with a screwdriver. I saw people do some beautiful thing with a sandpaper. Saw some beautiful thing being done with freaking mud that became clay, and people made it. Once again, you need a tool, and the tool in itself isn't necessarily. And I keep talking about the tools being a hammer and a drill and everything else. What if the tool in itself were your hands, your feet? What if the tool in itself was your body? Right? And once again, we're talking about the brain versus the body, and that is a complicated subject. So this is what I think about a man with tools, right? Now I was gonna do a man with a plan, but I think a man with a plan video. I think they're so short, both of them. And I can do a mega video. So let's go with a man with a plan. Now a man with a plan is actually quite simple. A man with a plan is, once again, is the idea behind it. Their situation, there it is. The biggest pros of a man with a plan is capacity. Once again, repeating myself, but I think it's important to acknowledge a situation and plan towards situation, right? A man with a plan will have a better leadership of the situation. Hey, listen to me, I have this idea, right? Versus somebody that says, well, I can do it. Truthfully, there's more people that are able to do something than people that are able to solve solution. That's why there's more bosses. That's why there's less bosses. There's less manager. There's less leadership position. I think a man with a plan is the role that nobody wants. The role that demands a lot more. People were looking at you for excuses. When you have leadership, people will look for you for leadership. Hey, well, they do it this boss, right? If you don't have a plan, you're not able to. And I think that because this is a harder situation, this is a more rare ability. I think there's also a lot of credit to be had when you have a plan. There's I was talking about before about being able to do a situation. For example, there's an amazing landscape, right? In the amazing landscape, you weren't able to see with your phone because you didn't have your phone. But it wasn't only the phone. Did you plan the battery? Do you have a good place to have a footage? Did you know that if you go, I live next to the lake shore. Did you know that if you go a little bit further to the north, you'll have a much better view, a much closer view to the ocean, right? And depending on the phone that you have, you possibly have enough zoom to make it look really well. So it's not about the footage. It's not about the footing of the footage. From where do I take the thing? For example, there's right now we're filming the nature corner, right? So you're seeing this. I live on the fourth floor, which means that I kind of have access to the sky view. I could have the same footage from the first floor, and all I would see is a wall. But because I'm living here, I acknowledge the fact that I'm able to have a great views. Now, there's three things with that. You would say the tool is, it's not a plan, the tool is the view. The view is a tool. You're able to see something cool, so you see something cool. But it is because I spent years staying in the house, not enjoying the sky view, right? If I had a better plan, I would be like, you know what? There's the beautiful sunrise. You're having a shitty day. Enjoy the sunrise. There's days where I had depression. All I need to do was to go out. I had agoraphobia, which means the fear of leaving the apartment. Technically speaking, for whatever reason, the balcony is more so a place of the apartment than outside. So I could have went from the balcony and slowly heal my agoraphobia, because I'm more so a man that think. I didn't think about it. I mean, with a plan, when there's a situation that arrives, who will find a solution? For example, the man with a tool. My problem with that is there's a person with a plan. There's a leadership person, and this person is wrong. You're not able to say, "Hey, you're wrong" to the person because they didn't plan ahead. I find myself in a position where I'm impulsive a lot. I'm gonna be doing things out of automatism versus, well, I wanted to do this, and because I'm doing things out of automatism, a lot of the time when I'm doing something, it's a case of where you're really supposed to do that. What gives? Why did you do something? Did you think about the people hurting, right? So, for example, I go to my father's house. I think it was 2 days ago, and we're doing a job search, right? And with the job search, my stepmom, she's like, "Did you when you go to give out a CV, do you go to human resources?" And I'm like, "No, I trust people. I want if I give my CV to the cashier, my first thought isn't that they're gonna put the paper in the garbage." And then she said something that bothered me. She said, "What if she did?" And I'm like, "Holy shit, you're right." And then the idea that came from it, right? The idea that came from it would have been like, "Hey, a lot of the cashier, a lot of the people that you give your CV to, will be honest people and give out your CV. But some of them just don't give a fuck. There's time where at work you didn't give a fuck, and if somebody gave you a CV, there is a crazy situation. There was this guy. There was this guy who came in, right? I was working at TD, and the guy came in and he was looking for work, right? But the guy smelled really like alcohol, right? And I told him we're not really looking for people, right? But the real thing that I should have done is to take his CV and bring it to the boss. Fuck what you think. You're not the boss. You take the decision. He's gonna be the one that's saying no, right? The fact that I said no. It wasn't my place to be. But I judged him on smelling like alcohol, right? If I was a man with a plan, I'm like, dude, if the guy's a fuck up, the boss is gonna see it. Maybe the guy just had to step back. And that's why I felt bad, I felt really bad because I'm like, dude, you shouldn't have done that to the guy. And that is pretty much it. So, running back to what we were talking about, man with a tool versus a man with a plan, it depends on the situation, but most of the time, then again, if we're talking about it depends on the situation, then we're automatically talking about, well, some situations are going to be better for the man with a tool, some situations will be better for the man with a plan, right? So now, the question is, in most cases, if you want to think about school, right? When you think about school, one of the most important subject in my mind, in my opinion, would be mathematics. Now, why mathematics per se? Because in a day-to-day basic, I ended up using more mathematics, right? But for some people that were using more geography. When it comes to geography, I suck. When it comes to science, I suck, right? I suck. I'm good at math because it's factual. It's the same thing. You know that 5 times 5 is 25. No matter what happened, it will never change, right? Now you know that 5 square times 5 is 125. When you understand that, it's easy. It's easy. You know that when you're doing time 5 and a third times 5, it is 650. You know that because automatically, right? But these are more so learned pattern or learned behavior versus critical thinking. Mathematics is a case of I'm putting this and this, and I know that this is it, right? It's just quick, right? But if I was placed with a problem, for example, there's a power outage. What am I supposed to do? Right? You're supposed to leave the apartment, right? That's critical thinking. You don't have that. It's enabled by the fact that you know your shit by heart. It doesn't allow you to think. One of my favorite radio station when I grew up in the apartment was Radio X, and the reason as to why was they were asking questions. They were being critical of the government, right? They were once again asking questions. Now, these questions didn't matter at the very least. It didn't matter at all. They only mattered because people were asking questions. But take away the question, you really need an answer, right? For example, right, if I ask you, why is the sky blue? There's a ton of reason why the sky is blue. You end up realizing that it is melatonin. It is the wave, the water reflecting on it. The planet is more so than not water. So because the water is blue, the sky is blue. It's reflection. Now, how does it help you? How does it help you from your day to day? Well, if somebody asks me why the sky is blue, I'll be able to answer. Yeah, but who's gonna ask you? Huh? A man with a tool will always be able to use them. A man with a plan will always be able to plan. What is more important? And that's the question. There's no answer. There's no answer. Factual people with with a more of a leadership capability, people that are more so planning things. My mom, she's more so a planner. She'll want to plan things. She'll say, hey, what should we do for this? And I'm like, Mom, we'll get there when we get there. My father the same way. My father's like, okay, well, John, for example, the taxes guy, he'll come next week. I don't have this paper. What are we gonna do? I'm like, well, I didn't receive it. So my father's like, what are we gonna do if we don't have it next week? I'm like, let's wait until next week and then even think about finding a solution. People planners, I'm more so a guy with a tool. The tool being the paper. I don't care where the paper came from. I don't care when it goes in. As long as I have it when I need it. Right? But once again, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I'll never know. There's a beauty in doing those videos. There's a beauty in doing a video that is supposed to be something that's thinking. I was watching Trailer Park Boys. Again, I'm obsessed with this right now. And in season 1, Bubble says Plato, one of the great thinker of olden time, one of the father of psychology, was saying there's such a thing as noble lie. If a lie doesn't hurt anybody and better their life, it's okay to lie. Right? Some people will stretch that. Some people will stretch that to say, God bless you. Some people will stretch that to say, hey, I didn't mean to hurt you, but I still hurt you, It was an accident, bless you. It was an accident. So yeah. I'm gonna go back in because I have to go out, give out some CVs. Take it easy. Peace. Got this. Oh, I get lost. Can you spare a dime? Just one more hit, and we'll be fine. Swear to God, there's one last time. In a crooked little town, they were lost and never found. Fallen leaf, fallen leaf. Fallen leaves on the ground. Run away before you drown. Don't blink as you blink. Welcome to the Computer Show. Welcome to having a wonderful day on this 21st May 2025. It is shitty outside. I want to apologize because this is part 2 of our season 3 of Trailer Park Boys. What happened? Well, it is cold outside. Right now it's like 8 degrees. So the battery drains faster, and you know me. When I start filming, I do a lot of videos. So I didn't have time to finish. So this is part 2 of season 3. We're kind of in a rush because I have to go. I do have to go give out some CVs in about 20 minutes. So let's finish this, not quickly, but properly and in a orderly fashion. My ink, what a pleasant thing to say. So we're going season 3. We finished on episode number 5, which is close to the art. So we have 3. We have 6, 7, and 8 to do. Episode number 6. Oh, whoa, that's not it. Season 4. Episode number 6. Where is Randy fucking Barbecue? The simple fact that you're swearing in your title, is a picture perfect identity of the boys. This is actually really cool because this is such an important episode. There's so much going on in there. One of my favorite episodes. I'm realizing how good season 3 is when I analyze every single episode. Why it is? Well, there's really thing. It's more so like a filler episode, but there's so much going on. For example, we constantly talk about how Ricky is a good dad. I did this video this morning. I'm thinking about what was more important, having the tools or having the ability to plan, Ricky or Julian, right? So Ricky, although has the best intention to be a good dad, he teaches the kid to steal barbecue, right? And it's horrible because the bubble gets mad at him. It's like, yo, you're a dickhead. You're gonna teach them to be criminals, then they're gonna end up in jail because they don't know better. That's all because you don't care. You're trying to make money, right? But at the same time, Ricky actually thinks that he's doing something good. He's teaching them something, right? And then ultimately speaking, what happened is Ricky goes in and his daughter's like, my father's gonna teach you his job, right? So Ricky does it for trade. He doesn't do it originally. He doesn't do it for cash. Then he sees cash, and with Ricky, you kind of forgive that because Ricky always has this complex of inferiority because of Julian. Julian is smarter. Julian is better with words. Julian is better in every shape. So because Ricky thinks that he sees this opportunity to make money and like fuck Julian, that's my brain. It's a horrible idea, but it's an idea, right? With the fucking Randy barbecue, the craziest thing about this episode is how good it is. For example, Leahy and Randy goes after Ricky and Julian for the barbecue, and you're like, we've been stealing barbecues for years. What's up right now? Then you realize that it was a gift from Leahy, and underneath, I like you, Randy. It is also the first episode where we meet Erica, which is Julian's girlfriend. Erica does play an important role in season 3 and season 4, but not that much. You'll see her in A Man Gotta Eat, which is season 4, episode 2, 420. Where's Randy fucking barbecue? Am I forgetting something, huh? For sure. There's so much more than that. The episode. We get to, oh yeah, at the end, Leahy and Randy come out, which is kind of good, because again, we knew since season 1, but the show in itself was kind of like on the fence, which is normal for the time. We have a gay couple, but we don't want to have a gay couple. And yeah, it's a pretty good episode. There's some really sweet moments with Bubbles saying, this is my job, this is my passion. Bubbles, you think he's fixing carpet, he's also doing barbecue. Got a double-decker barbecue. It's really cool. Really good episode. Really good episode. And for once, you got freaking Julian who said, hey, this is not cool, man, but it's an opportunity to make money. So that was kind of crazy. Got the delusion of Jim Leahy. So the delusion of Jim Leahy is a direct follow-up of season 3, episode 6. And it's actually quite cool because season 3, episode 6, which is where Randy fucking barbecue, ends up with the boys going in the trailer of Jim Leahy with a car and breaking it down. So Jim Leahy, because of that, becomes drunk. The boys are playing hockey, which is, again, you're supposed to take for the boys because they're the boys and they're playing hockey. But you end up taking for Jim Leahy, John Stonsworth, rest in peace, and Barry Botter. Why? Because his trailer is fucked up. His life is shitty. He just came out and he did it as a way of being clean and being honest. But then nobody gives a shit. It's like, why do I even bother? And then that's the day that he got fired from the force. And even Randy says, whatever you do, please, today I'm asking you to fuck up. And this is a beautiful episode. Not so much for what's going on. Not so much for that. More so for the fact that Leahy has been pushing, and he's finally pushing back. So what happened when you push him to this extent? There's some gold mine in this one. For example, Leahy, what happened is they shoot a hockey puck on his window, and then he has his cop uniform, so he starts to wear it. And then he goes for it. And then Randy, because in love, is like, okay, well, let's go for it. I trust you. But then Leahy goes in and goes further. And this is why you see that Randy is amazing characters. Randy is Leahy if Leahy wasn't fucked with. So Leahy is a result of a dude who was pushed. Randy wasn't that pushed yet. He still has some good in him. He's still not biased by the world. If he sees a situation that's unjust, he's going to be opting for justice, which we love. There's a fantastic scene where he has a gun, which is an old gun. He's like, yo, I need to see Ricky and Julian. And then they tell Bubbles, please tell us. So then Bubbles imitate Ricky and Julian. And the funniest thing is, you see there's a scene, it's a couple of seconds long, but it's amazing, where you see Bubble in the window talking and you can hear him. So that's beautiful. Once again, Ricky and Julian are in jail. And this is a really meaningful thing. It does show that even when Leahy is completely almost blackout drunk, he still sees Bubbles as this good person, but it doesn't put Bubble in jail. So Bubble goes in to save them. We have Lucy actually calling her lawyer, and her lawyer, which is cool because it's the same lawyer that we had from season 3, episode 1, when she went into child support. which was a shitty move, but then she's doing something right. And it goes to say, and it always will go to say, Trailer Park Boys' biggest strength is not the number of characters that introduce, it's how you use them. The Trailer Park is a small place. Don't give me 200 characters. Give me 20, but use them correctly, right? And that is pretty much it. There's also a really good place. There's a really good moment in this episode where J-Rock is making music. He's being too loud, and Leahy comes in and breaks his radio. And then you want to feel bad. You want to feel bad for J-Rock because he lost his radio, and Leahy is drunk. He's crazy. And at the same time, that's one little thing. Leahy possibly told J-Rock, lower your volume, and the answer was probably fuck you, right? And ultimately speaking, you understand where J-Rock is coming from, but you also understand where Leahy is coming from. It's a question of, do you think that it's injustice that he broke a radio, or do you think it's injustice that he kept on playing his music too loud, right? That's actually pretty cool. Season 3, episode 8, Shit Leopard cannot take out his stain. And this is the finale of season 3, and possibly one of the best episodes. So, in this episode, you heard by the title, a Shit Leopard cannot change his spot. And for the longest of time, actually this is the first time when I'm realizing what the title truly means. So we got Erica, and they had this cruise. Remember the first part of this video? They had this cruise, and the plan was to get this cruise. So there's 8 tickets, and one of the tickets was for Erica. Now what happened is there's a fuck up. Ricky ticket was the last one, was the bonus one. Ricky didn't call, but they didn't get a ticket, so Erica comes in. So then at first it's super cool because Trinity is like, Dad, I want you to be, my apologies, Dad, I want you to be with us when it comes to Christmas. And it lighted up a switch for Ricky. It's like, I have been a shitty father. I have been a really, really, really shitty father. I've done some horrible things. My daughter deserves it. So the plan is to take Trinity on a cruise. But because Ricky doesn't have cruise ticket, he's not going to be able to spend his Christmas on a cruise. Now, there's a really cool scene here where Ricky's like, I don't want to be alone. You realize that he doesn't want to be alone. He can go back to jail because he has friends there and be able to enjoy himself. There's another really, really cool part. Corey and Trevor actually take it for themselves. They're like, oh, we need some cash for Ricky, so we'll steal the ATM bank. This is the first time where Corey and Trevor actually do something on their own volition. Something stupid, but something out of their own volition. Erica is supposed to stop Ricky because she loves Julian, because now they're a couple. So for example, right, what I forgot to say is, what the fuck is Randy's barbecue? They do such a story for us, and then Julian is able to say, please don't arrest him. And she's like, why is this barbecue so important? Then Julian tells her what's beneath it. He tells her they've been a gay couple, and it's like, I'm the only one that knows. And for Erica, it's like, okay, well, Julian's a really good dude for not saying this. So it's really sweet. But then, so Erica, she's a good character because she has this moral high ground. I could stop you, but I'm not gonna, because it's not a big deal. For example, in season 4, episode 2, A Man's Gotta Eat, she finds Randy and Julian prostituting, and she's like, I could stop you, but you guys are so worst, such a bad shape, I'm not gonna let you go. Why? Because she feels pity for Julian, she feels pity for Randy, which is really cool. That being said, in season 8, season 3, episode 8, Enrique goes on a rampage, and the craziest thing is, Ricky doesn't start on a rampage. He gets pushed. Although less than Leahy, which we just saw get pushed enough, but a little bit. So Ricky's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have my meal with you. I'll have a meal with you. You get high and have a party, and then he gets stopped, and then he goes crazy. He's like, okay, well, I want you to go in jail. So he keeps committing crime, he keeps committing crime, and he keeps committing crime, and he keeps committing crime. And the whole time, he's prompting Erica to stop him. But then Julian goes behind him and destroy all evidence, so they don't have evidence towards him. The whole time, it's Leahy that give me the mistake. So Leahy sees Trinity with a tire, and then he's like, hey, Trinity, honey. No, Ricky says, Trinity, honey, where are you going with that tire? And Trinity's like, Dad, I'm borrowing it. Remember with Brandy's barbecue? We say we're borrowing barbecue. And he says, don't do that. Don't commit crime. You never ever steal. Because Ricky once voted for Trinity, which is a conscious take on his own life. He wanted better for himself, but he couldn't. And then Leahy says a shit leopard never loses shit streak. And you think about that, you think that's Ricky. However, what ended up happening, which is really cool, is that's amazing, to be honest. That's amazing. So Trevor and Corey, they come back and they build the ATM machine, and they open it, and then Julian gets splashed, and then Erica's like, "Yo, Julian, you're splashed with the blue dye." So when what you do is there's blue dye to show that it's really hard to take out. So they'll show you that, hey, this is a criminal. Then she tells Julian, "Are you involved in this?" And Julian's like, "No, I'm not involved in this. It's Randy and Leahy." And then she takes away Julian for jail, and she says, "I love him. He's a criminal, but I love him." And then you realize the most important thing: a shit leopard cannot change his spot. Was Julian? He was a criminal, and no matter how good he has in him, he is still a criminal. The season ended with Ricky saying, "I got trailer park supervisor. Leahy's in jail. I'll become trailer park supervisor." It's a really good thing. You see the people on the cruise, which is really cool. However, Julian went to jail for Ricky, and Ricky didn't go to jail for Julian. That's shitty. It's a great season. I have to go give out some CVs. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace. See you tomorrow or today for season 4. Okay, let's go. It's gonna be